In this episode, we climb Mount Fuji.
I walk like this?
Yeah. Compare Canadian versus Japanese cuisine.
Smallest salad in the world.
Why do you keep bringing this up? I'm not that fat.
And we objectify our friends. Take a screenshot, it'll last longer.
Bookmark this video as a guide if you think you want to do this in the future.
I meant climbing Mount Fuji, not objectifying your friends. Unless you're into it.
People risk their lives to climb Mount Fuji for many different reasons. And when I say risk their lives, I mean it because every year people die on these slopes.
Some people take that risk to test their strength against Japan's highest peak. Some seek spiritual cleansing. Many endure for the legendary Okuraiko sunrise.
Some even climb to honor their dead,
carrying ashes of their loved ones as a final farewell. We climbed it for a stick.
But not just any stick, a stick that is made entirely of wood.
That doesn't sound very special.
Oh, it's special, you see, and don't be weird, everybody loves wood.
I mean, look at this guy go, he's loving it. More on the stick in a second.
But first you have to understand the inherent dangers of Mount Fuji. Mount Fuji is an active volcano that stands 3,776 meters tall.
What does that mean? Well, the Empire State Building is about 380 meters tall, so
picture climbing up 10 of those. At 66% of peak altitude, oxygen levels in the air starts to drop drastically.
This is where altitude sickness begins and can involve things like extreme shortness of breath, fluid in the lungs, swelling of the brain, and requires immediate descent or Great Lady Death.
Although I heard she's pretty hot. In case you're thinking it can't be that bad because people of all ages come and hike Mount Fuji, if you compare it to Mount Everest, which has an average of 4.4 deaths per year, Mount Fuji tops it at 5.3 deaths per year. In fact, Japan has banned people from climbing Fuji in one day because of this.
Put it this way, flying a plane is much harder than driving a car. But if you compare the average 400 fatalities from plane crashes each year versus the 1.1 million fatalities from car crashes, you see that things that are easily accessible can be deadlier. And it's not just altitude sickness that can get you.
There was a man who slipped climbing Mount Fuji in the winter and his body was found in multiple pieces. Fuji is no gentle pilgrimage, it's a trial and endurance test, and it's a battle against both nature and yourself.
So why would we risk all of this for a stick? It's also because it's a Fuji-only stick, one of the coolest souvenirs you can get anywhere. As you climb, you'll pass these little huts along the trail. They'll sell water, snacks, even canned oxygen if you need it. But the best part, they'll brand your stick, like straight out from the fire. Some designs are updated yearly, and by the time you hit the summit, your stick isn't just a souvenir. It's a custom-built trophy that proves you've conquered Fuji.
And if you're really hardcore, they'll even brand it on your skin.
The challenge of climbing Mount Fuji starts way before the hike. The mountain is only open for 2 months, early July to early September. Because of the ban on bullet climbing, you'll need a hut reservation to get on the trail. And they start booking as early as April. We locked in our spot for September 6th, but that's right in the middle of typhoon season. Leading up to the hike, the mountain kept getting shut down. August 29th to September 1st, closed. September 3rd to 4th, closed.
We went to the airport on September 4th knowing the trails were closed. Not a good feeling.
As we embarked on the journey and being polite Canadians,
we reminded ourselves that it's important to respect other people's culture.
What seems unfamiliar to us may hold deep meaning there. Japan's full of rich traditions. And hey, all we can hope is that when they visit Canada, they'll be just as open-minded about our authentic street food, which is of course Caesar salads and mimosas. Look, we go pretty hard up here, but we really wouldn't have it any other way, especially on a beautiful summer evening like this one. And with a quick layover, we noticed that it's the tradition of the US to charge a whole $3 10 pennies plus tax for a hash brown. And this was pre-tariff wars.
Now, while we honor the Americans' traditional way of life, we must respectfully decline. No, thank you.
Our flight into Tokyo was luckily very empty, and we got to sleep horizontally, so it went by pretty quickly. Upon arriving, we immediately saw a most wonderful sight. A carousel staff handling our luggage with love and care, and all that went through my head in that moment was But this is no time to perv out, we have a bus to catch. First, we bought our PASMO card at the airport kiosk, which you use for trains all over Tokyo. We took the train to Shinjuku station and walked to the Shinjuku Bus terminal.
6:15 minutes, okay.
With a couple hours or so to kill, we walked around the Godzilla store, checked out Big Camera, picked up some provisions, and had an early sushi dinner. Lots to see in Shinjuku, so you won't really be bored. Then we hopped on the bus and in no time arrived in Kawaguchiko. Our hotel for the night was literally right across from the bus station where the shuttle to Mount Fuji sets off. Perfectly efficient. Cup noodles in our belly, we rest hoping the weather holds up for the hike. Oh, thank God. I mean, thank Kami, because the day was as clear can be. By the way, check out this bathhouse at the hotel.
Mount Fuji right there. What a fantastic view.
We stored the luggage at the hotel for about 500 yen, then met up with our third travel companion who came in on a later flight. Let's get you acquainted. First up, we have Mo. He's part of the 1% of engineers with mad abs. And he's often objectified by people such as yourself. Take a screenshot, it'll last longer. Then we have a man whose name is also his gender. He's a straightforward guy. Abs? Nah.
But Aman and I have enough charisma to make it for it tenfold. Oh, by the way, my name is...
We are 3 episodes in and I've never introduced myself. But who gives a f? Together we are known as Ham, aka the Ham Boys. So the Ham Boys wanted to get a nice hearty breakfast and maybe carb up before the ascent. Unfortunately, they don't really have a breakfast place in Kawaguchiko. We walked around a bit and everything opens kind of late. There's this one coffee shop, but ultimately we decided to hit up 7-Eleven and Lawson, just 50 meters down the road. If you didn't already know, Japan has the best convenience stores in the world. Fresh, affordable, and well stocked, which was perfect because we needed more water and snacks for the climb. For breakfast, I heated up some spaghetti bolognese and the guys had a couple of sandwiches.
Yeah, it's good. Convenience store food never fails.
Here's another tip, don't forget to stock up on some water and food for the hike. The further up you go, the more expensive things get. It takes half an hour to get to 5th station where you start the climb, and it sits in the elevation where altitude sickness starts. And yes, I can already tell it takes more effort to draw a breath.
I felt a little bit, tiny bit dizzy with the mask on, but with it off, I feel more normal.
My concerns though were quickly washed away as we were reminded of our true purpose in Japan. The staff of Fuji-san. I say staff, but really they come in a few different sizes. Foot-long ones, waist-high ones, chest-high ones, and one that was extra long, like 6 feet long. We went for the one which corresponded to the respective size of our legs' length. Just say height.
Right, the respective height of our third leg.
So the chest-high ones for Mo and myself, and the waist-high one for Aman. With that, let the stamps game begin. Now depending on which shop you got your stick from, you already have one starter stamp. And if you follow the torii gates to the temple on top of the slope, you can get an additional hammered stamp from the shop there. Just ahead is where they check your trail pass. By the way, if you're wondering the difference between Yoshida Trail and the other ones, well, Yoshida Trail is supposed to be the easiest one of all, but also the most crowded. Normally I would have chosen the trail with less people, however Yoshida also has the most huts, which also means the most stamps. But if you're still craving a challenge, you could try Yoshida Trail on hard mode, like I did. More on that in a second.
After the planning, rushing, errands, and stick picking, the Ham Boys were off to climb Mount Fuji in high spirits.
Just listen to my naive optimism when Aman felt the weight of my backpack.
Oh my gosh, man. Do you want to give me some?
I'm good for now. Thank you.
Hey, you ignorant slut. You have no idea what's about to come.
Literally 5 minutes later.
Stamp. This is where it starts.
So 6th station is not a hut. It was a short stop with bathrooms and some maps to guide you on your way. No stamps. We took a break just above 6th station to munch on some onigiris and pickled plum.
Did you eat?
Yeah. Do you want?
That was fast.
And are now on the same level as clouds.
What is it?
It's pickled plum.
Oh, that should be good. Oh, maybe not. Oh God. Even I don't like it.
Neither do I.
If we don't like it, it's saying a lot.
From here, the ground became a little steeper and the hairpin trails began. I gotta say, these are the coolest looking landslide barriers I've ever seen. It looks like something out of a lushy version of Dune. As we progressed, maybe due to the lack of oxygen, our banter became much more intellectual.
Can I not carry this in my luggage?
Technically you're not allowed to. Well, up there I think on the actual mountain they might check. There's lots of on our way back down.
They won't check your butthole.
Yeah, that's true. Probably.
or your mouth hole. Take one of each, front and back. Cap the middle. I walk like this? Yeah. No, that's too obvious. You have to walk natural.
And that's gonna be a painful one.
It might be worth it.
How is that more intellectual?
No, I said less. You should check your ear holes.
Soon we were in the clouds and my instinct was of course to
Eat the cloud. Fake laugh achieved. It's funny the second time. Never recording when I should be. All my jumps come out when I'm relaxed.
Tired as we were, we kept zigzagging up the mountain, and after what felt like forever,
Is this 7th station?
No, not yet.
What is it?
Start of the journey.
Amin, why you gotta be so discouraging and poetic at the same time?
but wait, could it be? It is. Stamp.
Oh, there's 2. You did 2. Smells like fresh stamp. Victory. It's overexposed.
Campfire would have been a better description. I'm even getting my currencies mixed up.
First stamp since 5th station. $500 for a stamp. What? $1,000 for ice cream? That's crazy.
I'm telling you, it was a lack of oxygen.
But here's some good news.
Iced coffee.
No, not iced coffee. Look again.
Oh, now 7. It is 7th station.
Turns out this was indeed 7th station. It just wasn't our hut. You see, 7th station has 7 huts, and we were at the first of the 7. And ours was 7 of 7 at the very top. Now there is a strategy for booking huts. Obviously, the higher the hut you book, the closer you are to the summit, which reduces your trek to the summit on the next day.
So if you stayed at the highest hut on the 8th station, you could wake up around 3 a.m. and start hiking the next day and catch a sunrise at the top of Mount Fuji. Whereas if you spend the night at this hut, you still have to climb all of 7th and 8th and to the summit.
Which means you have to start climbing at around, say, 1 a.m.
However, if you spend the night at the lower hut, your body will get a chance to climatize to low oxygen overnight, which reduces the chances of altitude sickness. Although Amin was mistaken to say this wasn't 7th station, he was correct about one thing. This was just the start of the journey. Because this is where the terrain changes from gravel to rocks.
And where we officially begin to climb the mountain. One foot at a time, step by step, we ascended. Every slow earned mark felt like an accomplishment and a reason to keep going. Yet, with each hut, our priorities shifted, from collecting stamps to simply catching our breath. In fact, we started taking breaks even on the rocky trails between the huts. I know what you're thinking. You seem to have trouble breathing. Is this the altitude where fat people like you stop functioning?
First of all, rude. Second of some, remember when I said I was doing this on hard mode? Well, that might have affected my performance here. What is hard mode? Well,
Number 1, I was sick. I had a terrible sleep last night because my body was burning up and I was sweating through the night. My throat was both itchy and sore, and when my voice cracked back then, it wasn't due to my second puberty. I was just hoping it wasn't COVID or some final destination omen to not climb an active volcano. Number 2, I had injured my knee a few weeks prior to the trip. It was completely swollen at the time, it looked like a melon, and I couldn't bend or straighten it. And my doctor wanted me to do an MRI, but there were no appointments before the trip. So for support, I bought a knee brace in Shinjuku for the climb. Number 3, typical me. You remember my heavy backpack?
Oh my gosh, man.
It weighed that much not because of my gluttonous need to fill it with peach ice creams and 200 bottles of Yakult.
why do you keep bringing this up? I'm not that fat. By American standards. By Japanese standards, oof, different story. It was once again because I brought too much camera gear with me, which added about 20 pounds to my backpack. But you can blame this one on me because it's a bucket list trip, so I fucking do it again.
It's been close to 3 hours since the first hut. We were exhausted, but behold, 7 of 7. It was an absolute relief to finally reach our hut. Let me show you around. Toyokan was very clean, and unlike some of the other huts, there are dividers between people, so you're essentially sleeping in a private
pod. Some of the other huts you're packed like sardines next to other people and breathing right in each other's faces. Toilets are outside the hut, but there are no showers, and peeking around the corner quickly, you can see that 8th station would have been another 2+ hours climb. Since we weren't going for the sunrise at the summit, I think logistically we made a good choice. Soon after check-in, dinner was served, and it was very little.
Smallest salad in the world. Like one bite.
See, you're fat. I had 2 dumplings, a bit of rice, a sliver of lettuce, some bean paste, and a bit of soup. If you're vegetarian, you get tofu instead of dumplings. They also gave us a box of sushi for breakfast, which we were tempted to eat for dinner. But due to my strong will and non-fattiness, I saved it for the morning. Instead, I bought myself a hot piping cup noodle before bed. Fat. Aman also ate his later in the night, and Mo, sustained by his abs, just powered through with ease. Like I said, bring extra provisions. At the end of the day, we've ascended 500 meters. We have 1,000 more to go tomorrow, but for now we get to pause and enjoy this scenery. Above the clouds, far from city lights, stood us, and those who are still trekking towards their destination for the night. We wished them the best as we turned in for the night, passing out from jet lag and exhaustion. Well, also maybe a bit of hunger. In the next episode, we make some friends. I try to motivate myself.
It's for the stick, it's for the stick, it's for the stick, it's good for a good cause. Yeah, exactly.
Mo lays down some ground rules.
So you should never drop the stick.
And Aman gives his words of wisdom.
Poop at the summit, man. You should have.
Korokusuru. Okay, thank you.